As promised, this week we are going to talk about explaining Reiki to people that never heard about it or that is interested and curious on learning more, or the third and most difficult scenario, what they heard about Reiki or other energy therapies, it's incorrect, inaccurate, or totally based on mythology and not facts. So the next 6 postings are going to be about small tips and tricks on how to make those conversations smoother. It's not a master class, it's not intended to be. It's just my effort on trying to help the community with small tidbits of wisdom that I have gotten over these few years. Please feel free to comment. The more comments, the more sharing, the better. See you. Let's start by understanding our role as communicators and as Reiki practitioners before going into how to explain to others. So first of all, not everybody's going to love Reiki and energy healing, so we shouldn't expect that. Secondly, we are not here to change anybody's mind. That's an internal process and will happen naturally and organically at the pace of the person that we are communicating with. So don't go into fighting the good fight. It's a waste of time and the response can be pretty bad. Third, it's always useful to go to our first experiences with Reiki and remember those things that we heard that hit home and got us engaged, and which ones didn't and maybe shied us away to avoid making the same mistakes. Third, let's know our shit. We cannot talk about things we don't understand.
When we think about the audience, we have basically 2 types: the planned and the spontaneous. So we are going to encounter occasions in which we know which day, at which time, and with whom we are going to talk about Reiki, either because they reached out or because we reached out to them for some reason. And there are going to be other opportunities in which it's going to be totally spontaneous. We're going to be at a bar and someone is going to ask us, or a friend of a friend heard that we practice Reiki and they want to know more about it. And in both cases, the audience can be in 3 spaces. I don't care, but I'm willing to listen about it. I'm interested. Or I'm here to refute you because I don't believe a word of what you say. So those are the scenarios we need to bring. Audience number 1. That's when we have an arranged commitment and someone asks us to be someplace, somewhere, and at some time to talk to certain people. This is the perfect case of communication in every single book. So in this case, the steps are the ones you heard about like 100 times. And it starts by know your audience. Take the time to understand which is the objective of the meeting, apart from you explain what Reiki is, why they want Reiki explained, who is going to be in that meeting, what are their beliefs, what are they expecting you to say. The second step is tailor your message. You have all this knowledge, just make your delivery very smooth. And practice with a mirror, practice with a camera, do what I'm doing now, and that will help you immensely. Audience number 2, and this is the toughest audience for most Reiki practitioners, especially if they are new. And this audience, it's all about spontaneity. It's that person that heard about your practice and wants to learn more or anything because they never heard. They're curious, but don't know why they're curious and about what. Why is this audience very difficult? Because you don't necessarily know them. You didn't have time to study them. So there are a few key pointers here. First of all, ask questions. Ask them a ton of questions so you can get feedback, and that helps you tailor the message. Second, be very careful with the words you use. There are certain words that scare the crap out of people. One being spiritual. You can explain Reiki without using that particular word. It's also very important with this audience to pace yourself and understand how much information they can take before getting confused. Energy systems are very complex, so we cannot expect someone that never heard about them to understand everything that we have been studying throughout years. So remember when it was the first time that someone spoke to you about it. Which were the things that hit home, and which were the things that kind of scare you or shied you away, and try to avoid those. In general rule, if it didn't work for you, it most likely don't use it because it's probably not convincing. You can only talk about those things that you feel and you believe. If you start using pre-made phrases, you most likely won't get far with your audience. 60-second tips on how to explain Reiki and other energy systems to people that never heard about it. First of all, remember, you are not here to change anybody's mind. You can inform and create awareness, and that's it. So don't fight the good fight. It's not the way to go if you want a positive response. Second, think carefully about the words that you're going to use. There are some words that are spiritual that scare the crap out of people. You might want to avoid those that you know that are religious oriented or have a lot of connotations. Third, measure the pace and the amount of information that you are delivering. 4, ask a lot of questions because that's the only way in which you're going to be able to tailor your message as you go. And finally, remember those things that hit home with you when someone talked to you about it